Good morning, everyone. If everyone can please find their seats, we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, yeah. Good. Hi, I'm Lauren Finnegan. I'm one of your city coordinators. We also have Christy and Edna, and they'll be handling everything on the logistics production side today. Just a little bit about 1 Million Cups. We're a local program produced by the Kauffman Foundation to connect and engage local entrepreneurs, plus help build startups on a grassroots level. We also are very active on social media, so please get out your Twitter and follow us at 1 Million Cups DAL, and the hashtag is 1MCDAL. We're going to get started with our presenter today, Jason from Jables. So please everybody stand up and give him a big warm round of applause.
How you guys doing? Great. So I'm Jason Piniella. I'm here to tell you about Jables. So it's basically a mobile entertainment guy. Right after I started my first business right out of college, and I had that for a couple of years. And then after we sold it, I went to Europe and squandered all the money I made. Backpacked around Europe. Right before I left, I went and talked to a buddy that had already gone to Europe, and I was asking him what I should do, what I should see while I was over there. He said, it's cool that you're going to Europe. What I found is, you spend all this money to go overseas, and all that stuff that you want to do, you're going to spend all this money to go over there to do, it's actually right here in Dallas. Like, a lot of that stuff is right here in Dallas. And, when I've gotten back, I realized he's right. I mean, there's like 30 theater companies in Dallas, and there's just a ton of stuff to do. And if you're looking at something like the Dallas Observer, you're only scratching the surface of what Dallas has to offer. I think a lot of what you see in the Dallas Observer or Dallas Morning News, Guide Live, or sites like that, you're seeing the high-end, high-ticket stuff where they're paying promotional consideration for you to find out about that stuff. So there's a couple things I think that are really irritating about that. Recently, Jerry Seinfeld was, I know he's playing at Windsor. I don't know if he came to Dallas or not, but as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I've been watching this new comedians in cars getting coffee. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but yeah, I think it's great. So I was like, yeah, I'll go see that. Already sold out. So they're marketing something. They've already sold it. It just seems stupid to me that you market something once you've already sold out. But another one is having to get a paper. This probably dates me. I can remember when if you wanted to go see a movie, that meant you had to go get a newspaper to find out the movie times and the theaters they're playing at. Of course, no one does that anymore for movies, but for everything else, you have to. There's a litany of ways to find out of it. One of them is billboards. Another thing that irritates me is you're driving down 75, you see a show, hey, that looks interesting, and before you can read where it's at or the details, it's not a billboard anymore, it's a TV, and it cycles to the next, the Law Hammer or something like that, and you have no idea where the thing's playing. Of course, you're not going to drive by it. So I think all the ways that people used to find out about shows, whether it's a band or theater or whatever, I think it just, none of that works anymore. No one really listens to the radio anymore. Hardly anyone's reading the newspaper anymore, or something like the Dallas Observer. So I think a lot of those old ways just aren't as effective. So this is what I would used to read when I would go see a band. And of course, these are the half-page ads, and a lot of the larger music venues will have something like this. We called for ad rates. I think they got on to me, so before I could get half-page ad rates, they started asking me a lot of questions that I didn't want to answer. But you can see for like a quarter-page ad rate, for a year, they're paying like almost $30,000. That's just a lot of money. And Trees, Granada Theater, a lot of the large music places are paying for not quarter-page ads, but half-page ads. So that's just really expensive. But what I think is even worse is the circulation. Their stated circulation is 60,000. Well, Dallas is like almost 7 million people now. So that's like 1% of the population. But that's not necessarily all the papers that are seeing, though, that's the papers that are printed. So who knows how many people are actually seeing this ad. So there's a lot of people that are making apps that have events in them. And the Dallas Observer is probably a little different, but they call it do, and then like for each city it uses the area code. So for Dallas it's do 2 and 4. And Songkick, and I didn't put them all up there. There's a lot like Songkick that just have bands. But what they're doing is they're going to sites like Ticketfly that sells tickets, and they're either screen scraping or using some API to pull in all that data. So what you're seeing are events where someone's selling tickets. So of course, if they're not selling tickets, if it's a free event, or the venue sells the tickets themselves, like a lot of theater companies. You're just not seeing it in there. The last one is called SeatGeek. SeatGeek is it's a lot like StubHub. So what you're seeing is like aftermarket tickets. So this is the screenshot on the right is our app is live right now for Android and iOS, and there's really 2 things that we're trying to push. There's 2 things we're trying to push, which one is video, and I'll just go really quick because I just realized I have a minute left. But we've done about 13 videos that got about 21,000 views. So what's cool is those videos are always on YouTube, so they're growing about almost 600 views a month. And right now we've got about 1,600 views per video. And what's cool is like 70% of those views are coming from Texas. So if you're trying to target a specific region like Dallas, obviously, you're gonna hit that target. And of course, like almost 40% of those are coming from mobile phones. So there's some other stats I put on there on YouTube, and if you wanna see this, I can give you the slides afterwards. And then the other thing we do is we have a list of events. So they're coming from, so on the top left I have event curation. They're coming from basically 3 or 4 sources. One is we're screen scraping or using APIs just like everyone else, but we also want to put in events ourselves, curate some events ourselves, and then also we want to build a WordPress plugin so venues can put that stuff in themselves, and that gets pushed to our app. So, like I said, we're done. We've got if you go to Jables.com, you can download the iOS or Android app. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you think. If you think it's hard to use or something doesn't make sense, love to hear that. So, that's the idea. Thanks. Any questions?
We're going to open the floor for questions. Just a reminder, we are live video recording the event, so please make sure to wait for the microphone to come to you when you ask your question, and don't be shy and raise your hand really high so I can find you and bring you the mic. Go ahead.
How about that gentleman right there?
So how do local bands, local small bands, get their own gigs out there to be seen?
I think that's a good question, and that's one of the things that we really want to try to focus on are some of the smaller ticket item stuff, not just bands, but maybe small theater events. And one of the things we want to do is build a WordPress plugin. Of all the venues we have in our database, I think we have 300 right now. Half of those use a content management system like WordPress, and other ones that use the content management system, 80% are using WordPress. So we'll build a WordPress plugin, and they can put events in there, and it automatically gets pushed to our app, and then we can also push that out to Facebook as well. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, right here.
So you talked about some of the things that irritate you when it comes to advertising, like the billboards and non-listen to radio and those types of problems. How are you going to solve that problem for yourself and Jables?
Is it Jables or Jables?
Jables? Yeah. So I think one way is, I think we did, it's one of the people that put a little money into this, one of my buddies was asking, well, if you start screen scraping all these ticketing sites, like how many events is that actually? So we're thinking it's about 55, it'll cover about 55 venues if we hit 3 of the big ticketing companies, and that's about 100 events a week. And then we ourselves want to add another 200 events a week. So I think there's this long tail of other events that we want to slowly add. And as we do the 200 other 200 events, we'll start showing some of these venues and bands or promoters, hey look, you're one of the most clicked on deals, maybe you should think about using this WordPress plugin. And as people start using that WordPress plugin, more events obviously get into the system. And one of the things that we've heard, the feedback we've gotten is the more events in there, the better. And one of the things you can do on the app is sort and filter events. So if you're just saying, I just want to see free music, it'll create a list for you of just free music stuff.
I actually have two questions for you. My first question was, how does this compare to like downtown Dallas Inc.? Because my understanding is they already do something like this, like pull all the events in that are going on around the city. And my second question is, how are you making money? Because you were talking about, Dallas Observer and the news sites, how they structure their ads and charge. So I'm curious, how are you profiting off of this?
Sure, great questions. I don't know that I've seen Dallas Inc. or if it has, it's been a while. So I'll have to look at that and see. I'm not really sure. But my guess is they're using some kind of API like I talked about some of these other apps use. How we make revenue, there's a couple ways that a couple things we're gonna do right away, a couple things we're gonna do eventually. Right away, we're gonna sell like a subscription service. So we'll put in up to 1 or 2 events for free each week. If you wanna do more than that, there'd be subscription costs that would be much lower than the ad rates for some of the competing products like Dallas Observer. The other thing is spots on video, and like I said, that's very targeted because almost all those views are coming from Texas or the DFW area. So then eventually we want to sell data products. I actually came from Sabre, the company that owns Travelocity. One of their big products was they have all this airline and hotel data, and then they give that back to that airline so they can set better prices. So one of the things I talked about, I was actually meeting with some people at the Dallas Comedy House. And so the example I used with them was, look, you have 2 nights, Friday and Saturday, and I've come up there and I've gotten turned away because you're sold out those nights. But then on Wednesday and Thursday, hardly anyone's there. Maybe if you start raising the price on Friday and Saturday, at some point, people are going to go, gosh, it's a lot cheaper on Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe I'll go that night. So it does 2 things. It increases your average ticket price, but it's also increasing the volume of tickets you're selling because people are going to start going to the Wednesday and Thursday shows because those are presumably cheaper, right? So I think that data gets really useful. And there's a lot of scenarios where I think that gets interesting, like bands being able to find out what venues or what markets they should go to, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of cool use cases. Yes, sir.
Are you looking at Eventbrite as a competitor?
Well, Eventbrite is a ticket seller. So a lot of these ticket sellers do have sites where they show events, but they're only showing their events, right? It makes no sense for them to promote events where they're not selling the tickets. So Eventbrite does sell tickets. They have a site that shows the tickets they're selling. Pre-Kindle is actually local. Went to visit with those guys and they said, man, I really like this idea because there's just a litany of, music, sites that show you bands in town. One of them is actually called Bands in Town. But there's all this other events. So right now, our hottest ticket are brewery tours or stuff that breweries are doing, and nobody's really promoting that stuff. So something for that. And those are free events, so they're not going to promote that. But if they had some way of promoting that, I think that would work out really well for them. Yes, sir, in the back.
Hey, are you focusing on one specific type of event, or are you just going all over the place?
I think we have a dozen categories, and I don't think I could rattle them all off, but food, drink, music, theater, comedy, sports. So those would probably be the big ones, and I think we got some other ones in there as well. But yeah, we're trying to, if there's something going on in Dallas that's fun to do, we want it in our site or in our app. Yes, sir, right here in the pink shirt.
In your marketing matrix slide, you listed a lot of very different problems that event spaces will face. So are you trying to tackle all of those, or have you prioritized them in some way?
Right, so I kind of started moving through the last slides. I spent too much on the front side, but so this is actually showing two things. A question I usually get a lot is, how is your app going to be different from all the other, print or websites or apps out there? And so a lot of those are things that we want to differentiate ourselves from everything else that's out there. So we want to have a lot of events. Our goal is to have about 500 events a week. We want to have an entertainment profile. We also want to create our own content, which is one of the things I think the Dallas Observer does well, is they create some great content. But I think they're still focusing on print or written articles. We want to do video instead. So, and I won't go through all of these, but there's several things we want to do that I think a lot of people aren't doing yet.
Any other questions? Raise your hand high.
There we go, right in the back.
Hey, gotta ask a question.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram account called Dallas Social, which has been picking up a lot of steam recently as this place that people follow for different events and cool things happening. They started off where every once in a while they would allow you to post for free, and now they're fully paid, and yet they continue to grow their follower base, their event base. Do you see that as a competitor for you and an issue down the road if these places that are taking advantage of the social side, outside of I saw you had a Twitter account, but outside of that I didn't see a whole lot of the Twitter side. Shut up. So how are you going to use social media outside of the built-in social share and to promote other events outside of your own platform? That's my question.
Great question. So one of the things that Sabre I thought did really well while I was there is their philosophy is small airlines, small hotels, they can't afford to build these big products. They have ideas, but it doesn't make sense for them to really build this stuff out. So they built a litany of products to help promote the travel stuff that they're doing. We want to do the same thing. We want to build tools to help venues and bands or theater companies promote the events that they're doing. So some of that's going to be having some way to make it really easy to push this stuff out to Facebook. I think we're already working on pushing to Facebook, and then eventually we want to get into stuff like Twitter. I hadn't really thought about Instagram, but that's a great idea. I actually used to follow them. I don't know why I stopped. I obviously must have stopped because I haven't seen any of that stuff, but I'll have to check it out. But we definitely want to add stuff like that. Yeah.
Any other questions? Hands up high. All right, let me pass it up. Let's give Jason one more round of applause, please.
All right, great. And so we also are very active on Facebook. So if you could please check out facebook.com/1MCDAO. You can also sign up for our newsletter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But we cannot do this without our wonderful sponsors. So we want to give a big thank you to Houndstooth for caffeinating us and to Crew 2 for our great treats. And we'd love to invite Jill up on stage to talk more about sponsorships. And
Give a hand for Jill.
woo!
I'm Jill. I work here at the deck, and I'm up here to ask for money. So, no. First, I do want to say thank you to Christy and Edna and Lauren. They dedicate their time and expertise to keeping this program going every single week. They don't get a penny of pay for that, and they are awesome at it. So let's give them a round of applause.
this is a great event. We love having you here at the deck and in this space. It's a wonderful time to get together, hear great ideas. We are looking for sponsors for this event, so if you or your company is interested in sponsoring an event like this, supporting the entrepreneur community, then I want you to find me after this event or reach out to me, jill@thedeck.co, and I'm happy to talk to you. It's a great way to get your brand out there and support an event like this. So with that in mind, does anybody have any events coming up this week that they want to come up and talk about?
Come on up to the stage.
Okay. My name is Jermaine Allen, and I'm the CEO of RTR Digital, and we do on-demand training and learning management solutions. It's not necessarily a live event that I'm inviting you guys to, but next week will be the first launch of our paid course for social media for small businesses. So we're offering everyone a discount for the first month they sign up. It's an hour-long course. It's only going to be $20, and it will be available at www.rtrdigital.com. So obviously, we're a bunch of entrepreneurs. If you're having problems leveraging social media, we'll have the course available. Feel free to drop me a card, and I'll email you directly when it's available, or feel free to visit our website on Tuesday when it launches. Thanks.
Sorry guys. Hey, so I'm David Fires. I run a video game coffee club up in Plano on Thursday mornings to hang out and chat about video games and game development. But we're actually hosting an event February 25th, which is a Thursday evening at Dallas Fort Worth over on 211 North Irvay. It'll be around 6 or 7 p.m. And come hang out, play classic console games like N64, GoldenEye. If you're a big James Bond fan back in the day, we're gonna have like Super Nintendos, original, Segas, Nintendos, a bunch of different consoles. So if you have any consoles that you want to play and you just need a crowd of people to hang out with, or you just want to come and be a part of it, feel free to let me know or check out vgocc.com. Stands for the Video Game Open Coffee Club. Okay, thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Courtney Garza. I don't know if you guys have plans for Saturday night already for Valentine's Day, but even if you have a date or if you just want to bring a girlfriend or a guy friend, I'm hosting an event at Common Desk in Deep Ellum. It's actually going to be a whiskey tasting and makeup tutorial, actually by local entrepreneurs. One is Factory Glam. She's doing a makeup tutorial for the girls, so we're doing a professional whiskey tasting as well. And then it's going to be a 4-course dinner, and then goodie bags for everyone to take home. And we have tickets on Eventbrite for that. It's with my side company, The Harvest Hands. So if you just go to facebook.com/theharvesthandstx, you can get some tickets, and we'd love to see you guys there.
If anybody has any questions, please find us in the gray t-shirts. But otherwise, stay and network and enjoy. See you next week.